The first thing Daniel heard was the sound of his own breathing. It rasped inside his helmet, loud and uneven, fogging the cracked visor with every panicked exhale. Red warning lights pulsed across the cockpit, painting the shattered console in a stuttering glow. His ship, the Wayfarer, was dying around him. "Stabilize," he whispered, though there was no one left to hear him. The nav system had failed minutes ago. A meteor storm had come out of nowhere, a silver swarm shredding hull plating and tearing through his engines. Now the ship screamed as it fell through an alien sky, clouds streaking past the viewport in violet and gold. The impact came like a hammer from the gods. Metal folded. Gravity vanished. Then the world went black. He woke to the scent of rain and crushed leaves. Daniel lay half buried in twisted metal, the remains of his cockpit embedded in a forest floor of pale blue moss. His head throbbed. Somewhere nearby, the wreckage hissed and crackled, bleeding smoke into a lavender sky. He tried to move and cried out. Pain lanced through his leg, pinned beneath a slab of alloy. "Easy," a voice said softly. It wasn't his ship's computer. It was warm, alive. Through his blurred vision, a figure stepped into view. At first, his mind refused to make sense of it. She was humanoid, slender, upright, but covered in sleek silver-gray fur that caught the light like brushed metal. Her ears rose in elegant points from her head, twitching as she studied him. A long tail swayed behind her for balance. Her eyes were a luminous amber. Daniel blinked. "You've got to be kidding me." She tilted her head. "You are injured. Please do not struggle." Her voice carried a gentle musical cadence, filtered through a small device resting at her throat. A translator, he realized dimly. "You're real," he murmured. "Cat people are real." A hint of amusement flickered in her eyes. "We prefer Kethari, and yes, we are quite real." With surprising strength, she lifted the slab pinning his leg. Daniel gasped as sensation returned in a rush of fire. Before he could collapse back into shock, she slipped an arm around his shoulders and helped him free of the wreckage. The forest hummed with unfamiliar life. Bioluminescent insects drifted like living stars between towering trees. The air was warm and sweet. "My name is Lear," she said. "I saw your vessel fall. I could not leave you." "Daniel," he managed. "Thanks for not letting me die in a crater." Her whiskers twitched. "It would have been a poor welcome to our world." Lear's home was nestled in the branches of a colossal tree, a woven structure of living wood and fabric that swayed gently in the breeze. Inside, soft lights glowed from crystalline orbs. She guided Daniel to a low bed and worked with practiced care, setting his leg in a splint crafted from smooth bark and flexible resin. "You've heard of humans?" he asked as she finished. She nodded. "The galactic news speaks of your kind. Explorers, builders, sometimes destroyers." He winced. "Yeah, we've got a reputation." Her gaze softened. "But also storytellers, dreamers. I have always wondered what it would be like to meet one, and I never thought I'd meet someone who looks like they stepped out of my old cartoons," Daniel said. "No offense." Lear laughed, a bright, chiming sound. "None taken. We have our own stories of strange beings. You are less frightening than I imagined." They talked as the alien sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in ribbons of crimson. Daniel told her of Earth, of oceans and cities, of music carried on radio waves, and the quiet wonder of watching stars from a crowded rooftop. Lear spoke of the Kethari's harmony with their world, of treetop festivals and songs sung to the moons. With each shared word, the gulf between them seemed to shrink. When fatigue finally pulled at Daniel's eyelids, Lear draped a soft, woven blanket over him. Her fingers brushed his hand, warm and steady. "You are safe here, Daniel," she said. For the first time since the crash, he believed it. Days passed in a gentle rhythm. Daniel's leg healed quickly under Lear's care. She showed him the forest, guiding him along suspended walkways that wound through the canopy. He marveled at the grace with which she moved, every step a dance. In turn, he taught her simple human games, sketching constellations from memory and naming them in the night sky. One evening, they sat on a high platform overlooking a sea of glowing treetops. The twin moons hung low and full. "My people will find me eventually," Daniel said quietly. "They track our ships." Lear's ears lowered slightly. "Then you will leave." It wasn't a question. He stared at his hands. "I have to. It's who we are. We keep moving." Silence settled between them, heavy with unspoken things. Daniel felt it in the tightness of his chest, in the way his gaze kept drifting to her. "I'm glad it was you who found me," he said at last. Lear turned to him. Her amber eyes shimmered in the moonlight. "And I am glad you fell from the sky," she replied softly. "Though it is a terrible thing to wish, I would not trade these days." His heart pounded. Slowly, carefully, he reached for her hand. She did not pull away. Her fur was impossibly soft beneath his fingers. For a moment, the universe seemed to narrow to that single point of contact. Lear leaned closer, her tail curling around them like a protective arc. When their foreheads touched, Daniel felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the night air, a quiet understanding that transcended language and species. Their kiss was tentative, a whisper of shared breath, yet it carried the weight of galaxies. The rescue ship arrived at dawn. Its engines roared overhead, scattering flocks of luminous birds. Daniel stood at the edge of the clearing beside Lear, his packed gear at his feet. The forest felt different now, fragile, precious. "I could stay," he said suddenly. "I could tell them I chose to remain." Lear's expression was gentle, but resolute. "Your path stretches beyond this world. To deny it would dim the light that makes you, you." She stepped closer, placing a hand over his heart. "But you will carry us with you, and I will carry you." The landing craft descended, its hatch yawning open. Figures waved from within. Daniel swallowed hard. He memorized every detail of her, the curve of her smile, the golden fire of her eyes. "I'll come back," he promised. Lear's ears flicked in playful skepticism. "Humans make many promises to the stars." "Then I'll make this one to you," he said. "Not the stars." She pulled him into an embrace, fierce and tender. He buried his face in her shoulder, breathing in the scent of rain and leaves. When they parted, her eyes glistened. "Go, Daniel of Earth," she whispered, "and write stories that reach even here." He backed toward the craft, unable to look away. Only when the hatch sealed did he finally lose sight of her, a silver figure standing tall amid the blue moss. As the ship lifted into the sky, Daniel pressed his hand to the viewport. Below, the forest shimmered like a living jewel. Somewhere within it stood the being who had turned a disaster into a miracle. He smiled through the ache in his chest. The universe was vast and strange, filled with dangers and wonders beyond imagining. And now, threaded through its endless expanse, was a promise. A quiet, radiant hope that one day he would follow the stars back to her, and she would be waiting.